Alright, guys, so I want to react to this today. CincinnatiJungle.com posted this. This is 3 things that could save the Cincinnati Bengals season. And I'll be honest with you, I would love to hear them because I to save our season, I mean, win 3 games at least saves your season, gives you a less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs. If you win out, you can save your season. But if we're talking about strategically, what could you do? Open up the playbook, call actual more, exotic plays, like different trick plays, different end arounds, different, plays in that category. You got to run the ball better when you're, not just run the ball in the worst situations possible, but actually utilize the run in correct ways. Get Chase Brown more involved. Get Chuck Sizzle more involved. Like, get the rookies more involved. Like, really see what you have with this team. That would be my number one. My number two would be you got to just not turn the ball over. And I know that's like, wait, what? But yeah, you could win some of these games by just playing defense and not turning the ball over. And if you can, really do number one correctly, number two just kind of falls right in line. And number three, pick back up L. Collins. Number three. Probably go Will Grier as your starting quarterback and see what can happen. That would be number three. Again, I want Jake Browning to start because I want to see if he could be the quarterback of the future as the backup. That's why I want to see him start. I think Jake Browning can be pretty good. I think he can be pretty serviceable. But if you really want to win, Will Grier is probably the guy you go with, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, if you want to see what you have, then it's going to be Jake Browning. So that's kind of where I would say 3 things that could save our season. Here's how I look at it, right? I think we're going to make the playoffs. And I know I'm crazy to say that. And I know I'm insane to say that. And I know I'm the craziest guy out there, the most optimistic person possible. But again, looking at our schedule, we have the Colts. That's going to be a tough team. But we could win that game. We could beat the Vikings. But we could beat the Vikings. The Bears beat the Vikings. That was pretty bad. That might be how the game goes for us, too. We beat the Vikings by 3 points, and it's all field goals. We can also beat the Browns in the last week. If, and only if, it is in Cincinnati. We can win in Cincinnati. But it's only if, 1, they have the playoff spot locked up and they're just not starting their starters against us. Or 2, their quarterback DTR actually gets hurt even more. Because Joe Flacco now is a starter for them, and I think we can beat Joe Flacco. So those are the 3 wins. I think we can do that. Now we have to win either Chiefs, Pittsburgh, or Jacksonville. I think we could actually win Jacksonville. I'm not going to lie to you. I have this weird feeling we win Jacksonville. If we win Jacksonville, now it's the Steelers, now it's the Chiefs, we're still a playoff team. So I still think we're going to make the playoffs. I think we're going to probably be one and done in the playoffs, but we're still going to make the playoffs, possibly win a Super Bowl. I just want us to win a Super Bowl so bad because that would be so funny for Jake Browning. I mean, it would be so awesome for Jake Browning, but it would be so funny to do it with Jake Browning. It would really prove to the NFL, that, anything is possible when you put your mind to it. Now, on a real note, though, I think we'll get to the playoffs one and done. But that's pretty much how I'm looking at it. All right, so let's look at this. Making a change at running back. Is Joe Mixon bad? No, not at all. Is he getting the job done behind the offensive line that doesn't have things figured out? Also, no, not at all. And that's where rookie Chase Brown comes in. The 23-year-old out of Illinois with a redefined skill set could jump the rushing attack. Okay, no. Number one, answer to your question is absolutely no. Our problem is not Joe Mixon. And why would a rookie perform any better behind this bad offensive line, as you said, than Joe Mixon would? Joe Mixon, 90% of the times that the offensive line crashes or messes up and lets a guy in, and it lets a guy get to Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon makes a move and gets past that guy. Joe Mixon cuts a move, cuts back, makes a crazy play. Why would you think Chase Brown would do anything better than that? The only reason why you go with Chase Brown over Joe Mixon is you say, I don't want to get Joe Mixon hurt, and I want him healthy for next season. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. Because if you put in Chase Brown, you're not going to get better performance than Joe Mixon. Now, if you would have said, utilize Chase Brown alongside Joe Mixon, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, no, Joe Mixon would not be better to go Chase Brown over Joe Mixon. This, if anything, would just crash the season and give up the season. Because the only thing on offense that's going good right now is Joe Mixon when he runs the football. So, no, absolutely no. Mixon might hit the hole pretty hard, but he runs pretty upright. And he gets taken down his legs pretty easy. Chase Brown runs a little bit lower to the ground. See, how can you say this when Chase Brown has had 1 carry on the year? You saw him play in preseason, which he didn't have many carries. You saw him play in practice and all that stuff, and you saw him in college. But at the end of the day, you haven't seen him in the NFL. So you don't know how he's going to run behind this offensive line. You have no idea. So I don't get why, what's the point of saying, well, Chase Brown runs like this? First off, you don't know that. Because Chase Brown behind the offensive line might run exactly like Joe Mixon, and except he might not get the yards that he's going to get. Again, like I said, utilize Joe Mixon and Chase Brown 100%. Agreed, stamp of approval. Go with one over the other? Get out of here. Just get out. Simplify the passing attack. Okay. I like this one. I actually do like this one. Although I will say that Jake Browning literally said, I do not want you to simplify the playbook for me. So you would be going directly against what Jake Browning's wishes were of simplifying the playbook down for him. But I think of it like this, okay? So if you're not simplifying the playbook down, simplify the passing attacks. Here what I will say. I'll change this question here, or the statement here. Instead of simplify it, I'll say create better plays. Call better plays. Call slant routes. Call drag routes. Call simple plays that are simple reads where you have 1 read, 2 read, 3 read. Do that, right? Don't simplify the playbook, but make it so the plays are, achievable with him. That's kind of how I'll look at it. Turn more to play action, says Sharon. It's really a cheat code for quarterbacks, he said. You don't really need a good running game to have a good play action game. And they can't spam it on bootlegs out of shotgun or a drop back to create some space against opposing defenses. Did they just... Hold up. I don't think I read that correct. There's no way I read that correctly. There's no way I read this correctly. You don't need a good run game to have a good play. I think my chair broke. What? You don't need a good run game? What? Hang on, let me read that again. You don't need a good run game to set up and to have a good play action game. What do you think sets up play action? Just tell me what sets up play action. Please, tell me what sets up play action. Is it the pass game? Because last time I checked, the run game sets up the play action game. The run game, play action game sets up the pass game. The pass game sets up the run game. They all work in unison, bro. You can't have no run game and be play action every single second. What's going to happen there? Oh, yeah, you're going to get sacked. Because they're going to be like, dude, you're not running the ball at all. You're literally getting 1 yard to carry every time you run the ball. We don't care if you play action. We're going to come at you every single play. No, that's... You had a good point. And then you took it, and then you put it in the toilet, and you flushed it down. What's the third one? Emphasizing wide receiver blocking. Okay, listen. There are wide receivers out there who are good blocking receivers, right? a lot of times when a blocking receiver, it's based on size, it's based on, strength and stuff like that. So you can teach, you can obviously not, I won't say you can teach. You can, work on blocking, right? And trust me, I'm guaranteeing you every single team works on blocking. It's not like this is a new concept like, guys, when we run the ball, we should work on blocking. Guys, when we run screen passes, guys, see right here it says screen passes, we should work on blocking. I promise you, they work on this every single week in practice. It's just not every receiver is good at blocking, run blocking or pass blocking. Not every single tight end is good at it. And that's just a skill set that you either have or you don't have. Now, you might say, well, that's a skill set you can learn. It is. You're right. That's the skill that is not like speed where you have to be born with it. This is something you can be taught. But again, it's also, again, it can be taught to a certain degree. Again, size is very important. So, like, for example, Tanner Hudson is a vertical threat tight end. Look at his body. He is not a blocking tight end. If you put him out there blocking against Cam Jordan, against Aaron Donald, against TJ Watt, he's going to get destroyed, right? But if you put a guy who's bigger at that position, he's going to be able to block. So a lot of it is about like size and stuff, intangibles you can't really, teach. A little bit, you could say the fundamentals and the skill sets. You could say, hey, listen, when we run this, we want you to do A, B, and C on this block. And again, I'm sure you got to remember, they're trying to do that. They're not going out there and saying, hey, guys, let's do this play that we never did before. They do this in practice every single week. They say, okay, we're going to run the screen pass. You're going to block here. You're going to block here. You're going to block here. We have great coaches, okay? It's not like we don't teach them how to block. At the end of the day, though, it's not going to change anything if you have a guy who's 6'5", 230 pounds, going against a safety who's maybe like 250. Oh, sorry, safety is 230, but a linebacker who might be like 250, 260, like, or a defensive lineman. Like, yes, you can teach them blocking, but it really does come down to the player. Like, for example, one of the best run blockers in NFL history was Anquan Boldin. Why? He was a big dude. He was 6'2", like 220, 225. The guy could outmuscle people, right? Now, if you have Tavon Austin out there on the outside, what's going to happen? Well, Tavon Austin's going to get destroyed. Tyreek Hill, he's not a good run blocker. Why? He's a small guy. So, yes, you can teach him the fundamentals, but I'm sure we have already taught all of our guys all the fundamentals. So, and you can't kind of say now, like, okay, you have 6 games left. Now it's time to start working on teaching the receivers how to block. That's not how it's going to work. Like, no. I usually love Cincinnati Jungle.com. They actually are a pretty good website. But, man, right now, this is not it. This is not the 3 ways to fix the season. This is the 3 ways to get roasted by Fantasy Truck Stop. Oh, man. This is why I know not everybody's a coach. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe you're watching this video right now and you're like, hey, man, I disagree with every point you made. Well, you know what? That's awesome. Because, remember, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them, and sometimes they suck. Peace out, guys.